Welcome to Getting Unstuck with Wendy V. I finally got this rotation thing handled, so I just laughing at myself. I finally figured out, and I'm gonna have to write it down so I don't forget that when I test it and it's off, I've got to leave it off. Anyways, thank you. And my topic today is that your access to impacting results is action. And my name is Wendy B. And I'm going to read a quote from Werner Erhard. He originally he does consulting work for Landmark Worldwide, and he created the Landmark Forum originally many years ago. I've been involved over 40 years, and it's been the biggest impact on my life. And he said this quote, and I want to thank you. And when it's important that you get clear for yourself that your only access to impacting life is action. And the world does not care what you intend, how committed you are, how you feel, or what you think. And certainly it has no interest in what you want or don't want. Take a look at life as it is lived and see for yourself that the world only moves for you when you act. That was by Werner Erhard, and I forget when he wrote it, but it's like I've been paying attention to that for years. So if you want to make a comment, I'd love to hear. And I'm just going to share some of the difference that this quote and the things that this man has said has made a difference in my life. So I'm Wendy Bergen. I am a transformational solution coach. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have successfully started 6 successful businesses. I'm creating my 7th. And I've written a best-selling book, Getting Unstuck. You can get it on Amazon, digital or paperback. Getting Unstuck, 30 Ways to Turn Your Limiting Barriers into Clarity, Freedom, and Power. And just even that, like when I share that, I also have a podcast, Thriving at 60, and you can check that out. And what I've been doing is these Facebook Lives and then transcribing them and putting them into my Thriving at 60. So thank you so much for being here. And I think it's really important to get that, we can have great intentions, but if we don't take action, nothing will happen. Like even an action of, you could be speaking the action, or you could be making a request is an action. What is an action? But you need to take action, like to even write my best-selling book, for instance, Getting Unstuck. When I had great intentions, I was going to write a book. I was really, I don't even know if I was committed to writing a book. I kept saying for probably 30 years I'm going to write a book. And then I got to my 60s and it was like, oh my God, still haven't written that book. But it took me not only declaring it, but creating actions to actually have it happen. Like, I committed, I was in a seminar and I got an accountability partner and I made a commitment to quite a few people, like how often I would write a chapter and when I would get it complete. And then I sat on the book for 2 years completed, and I still hadn't published it because I was so fearful of what people would think, because I was really vulnerable about my book. Like it was like I shared my life and 30 short chapters of things I've dealt with and the breakthroughs I've had and what could cause a breakthrough. And but it still took action to have it published. So I hired a lady that guaranteed that if you did the action she suggested and she coached you, that you could cause yourself to be a bestseller, but you needed to take the actions. So I hired her, I paid the money, and then I took all those actions, and then I still called tons of people to buy my book, still do. So those are some actions that I took. So you need to get clear for yourself that your only access to impacting life is action. So if you want to impact something, what is the action you're going to take? He says it does, the world does not care what you intend. Like I can intend all I want. For example, my daughter and I are going to share a home, and we're looking at rental properties, and unless we take action to look at these rental properties, doesn't matter how much we want it. I put out on Facebook, if anybody has a house in Langley, Cloverdale, Clayton Heights area, let us know. And so those are actions I've taken to, we're looking at renting a house, and first, then we have to decide, what are the things that we feel that are most important, and then take action, right? It doesn't matter what I think. If I don't take action, nothing will happen. And if you look at life, if you look at your life, anything that you intended, if it happened, what are the actions? If you look at it, there were some actions that you took. So I find this really valuable, because there's areas of my life that I keep saying I'm going to have something happen, but I don't take the actions. If I really look in the areas that I'm not as effective as I'd like, put a comment in. and if I'm not as effective as I would like, where am I taking action? Or if I'm taking action and I'm not being effective, then are the actions I'm taking effective actions? Because we can keep busy. We can say, I'll give you an example. I keep saying I'm going to cause some spreadsheets, because I have to learn how to use spreadsheets. Now I've been saying this for months, and then finally I got my virtual assistant to create 3 spreadsheets in things that I want to organize, and if I don't measure them, I won't be as effective. There's a saying, you need to measure it. It needs to be measurable to be able to be counted. And so there's 3 areas. I could probably do more, but there's 3 areas that I wanted to work on, so that I could keep track of my effectiveness. Because if I didn't measure it, I wouldn't be able to know, am I going to produce the specific result I want if I don't even know where I'm starting, right? So she made these spreadsheets, and she probably made them 3 or 4 weeks ago. I still have not gone in and filled them out. So without action, I can have all these great intentions to have these spreadsheets done. So last night I started working on them, and I started seeing that I'm challenged. I'm not practiced working on spreadsheets. So then the next action I took is I called a friend who's really great at spreadsheets and asked if he would spend a couple hours with me this afternoon. So we're going to do that. And then, because the spreadsheets, no matter how much I intend for them to get filled, without me putting the results in the spreadsheet, it won't happen. So thank you for listening. I just thought, this saying, it is important that you get clear for yourself that your only access to impacting life is action. Maybe I'll put the quote in by Werner Erhard. I'll type it in. but or post it after. But I think I will. I'll post it in. I posted it a couple of days ago, but I'll post it again in a comment so you can read it. But it's powerful when you get that without action, nothing happens. In fact, I had a client recently say he wanted to produce a certain result, and he keeps putting it down and doesn't have it happen. And so I invited him. There was 5 of us working with him, and he's in a group with us. And so we supported him so that he could take the effective actions he needed to take so that he could produce the results. But he had to take the action. It didn't matter how much we wanted to support him. Without him taking the actions, no matter how much he intended to have this happen, it wouldn't happen unless he was taking action. And interesting enough, I looked at the WhatsApp, and he's actually taking the actions he needs, and he's going to produce the result when he says so. So the other thing I wanted to say is, without honoring our word, without saying we're going to do something by a specific time, and then take the action so that we can produce the result by that specific time, nothing's going to happen. So thank you for listening to Getting Unstuck. That's one way to get unstuck, is to look at an area of life where you want to be, you say you have an intention, and look at what are the actions you're taking. And if you're not taking the actions, be willing to brainstorm with people. Thank you for listening to Getting Unstuck with Wendy B. And I will see you next week. Also, you can go to my webpage, wendybergen.com, and get my digital book or my paperback, Getting Unstuck, 30 Ways to Turn Your Limiting Barriers into Clarity, Freedom, and Power. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next Sunday. Hope this was valuable. Thank you so much. Bye now.